Good morning, everyone. It's so good to see you here this morning for our annual flower ceremony, which is a very treasured tradition in our community. So let us begin our service by acknowledging that the land on which our homes and our church were built was not uninhabited when European settlers arrived here with their ideas of conquest and ownership. For those of us who live in Moscow, Pullman, or other nearby communities, we live on the ancestral homelands of the Nimipu, called the Nez Perce by the French-speaking traders, the Palouse, and the Shitshumsh, called the Coeur d'Alene. If you're joining us from another place, I encourage you to discover who inhabited or moved through the place where you now live in times before colonization and genocide. We pause and remember that we live on ground that is sacred, ground that was stolen, ground that cries out for justice and for responsible stewardship. May this remembering help us find the courage to do our part to restore wholeness to the earth and all her peoples. And now let's join our voices together for the words of welcome, our unison chalice lighting, and our sung affirmation. Please say these words with me. Whoever you are, wherever you've come from, whatever your beliefs, whomever you love, and however bumpy your life's journey, know that you are welcome here. We're hoping that everyone has a chalice or a candle to light and something to light it with. Let's light them together.
We're the Thompsons. I'm Susan. This is Paul. And this is Michael. In the light of truth and warmth of love, we gather to seek and seek to share.
From all that dwell below the skies, let songs of hope and love arise. Let beauty, truth, and good be sung in every land by every tongue.
So again, good morning. Today's service centers on a unique Unitarian Universalist ritual brought to us out of Czechoslovakia by the widow of a Unitarian minister who served in Prague and died in a concentration camp for his controversial beliefs. Beliefs that we, of course, share. Beliefs like everyone is worthy and everyone is welcome. Beliefs like our lives are woven together, part of the interdependent web of all life. What touches one affects us all. Beliefs like all people are beautiful, beloved, and blessed, no exceptions. But wait, I hear you saying, I thought we weren't required to believe anything or believe the same things, but that is the beauty of our faith. As we seek and follow our own chosen paths to truth and meaning, what we've found is that they lead us inexorably to certain shared truths, the deepest of which is that love is the force that burns away fear and bends the universe toward justice. So today we'll celebrate the beauty within, among, and beyond us, the beauty of every precious human being, the beauty of the earth, the beauty and power of beloved community, the beauty of life, the beauty of love. Let's begin by joining in singing, I Know This Rose Will Open.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fears will burn away. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fears will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose. I know my fears. I know those wings. I know my soul. I know its wings. I know this rose will know its wings. I know this rose. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will furl its wings. I know this rose will open.
Good morning and happy Mother's Day. My name is Ryan and I'm with the UUCP's Family Ministries and RE programs. For today's Time for All Ages, I would like to just share the story of how the UU Flower Communion began nearly 100 years ago. This is a story about a brave man who had a very special idea about how to celebrate the beauty inside each of us and the beauty of the earth. In Unitarian Universalist churches, we call this celebration our Flower Communion. It begins in the city of Prague in the land of Czechoslovakia in 1923 at a church. But the building did not look much like a church. It had no bells, no spires, no stained glass windows. It had no organ to make beautiful music. It didn't even have a piano. It had no carvings of wood or statues of stone. It had no candles or chalices. It had no flowers. The church did have some things. It had 4 walls and a ceiling and a floor. It had a door and a few windows. It had some wooden chairs, but that was all, plain and simple. Except the church also had people who came to it every Sunday, and it had a minister, and his name was Norbert Čapek. He had been the minister at the Plain and Simple Church for 2 years. Every Sunday, Minister Čapek went to church, and he spoke to the people while they listened, sitting quietly and still in those hard wooden chairs. When he was speaking, the people talked a little bit among themselves, and then they went home, and that was all. No music, no candles, no food, not even coffee or donuts. Springtime came to the city of Prague, and Norbert Čapek went out for a stroll. The rains had come, the birds were singing, flowers were blooming all over the land. The world was beautiful. Then an idea came to him, simple and clear, plain as day. The next Sunday, he asked all the people in the church to bring a flower or a budding branch or even a twig. Each person was to bring just one. What kind, they asked. What color? What size? You choose, he said. Each of you choose what you like. And so on the next Sunday, which was the first day of summer, the people came with flowers of all different colors and sizes and kinds. There were yellow daisies and red roses. There were white lilies and blue asters, dark-eyed pansies and light green leaves, pink and purple, orange and gold. There were all those colors and more. Flowers filled all the vases, and the church wasn't so simple and plain anymore. Minister Čapek spoke to the people while they listened, sitting quiet and still in those hard wooden chairs. These flowers are like ourselves, he said, different colors and different shapes and different sizes, each needing different kinds of care, but each beautiful, each important and special in its own way. When he was done speaking, the people talked a little bit among themselves, and then they each chose a different flower from the vases before they went home. And that was all. And it was beautiful, plain and simple as the day. Now, this story has some hard parts too. War came to Prague, and Čapek was arrested by Nazis for his ideas of love and the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And he died in a concentration camp during World War II. His wife, Maha, came to the United States and Čapek's ideas with her, and she brought the ceremony of the flowers. I'm telling you this hard part of the story because it's important to know that sometimes our values are not welcome or even considered dangerous. And yet, Čapek and many others were and are willing to stand their ground and even die for the ideals that we strive for in our church today. So as we participate in our flower communion, we can remember that the idea that we are each important, unique, and even holy are radical, but worth living our lives by. In his own words, it is worthwhile to live and fight courageously for sacred ideals.
Today, of course, is Mother's Day, a holiday with its origins in the anti-war movement. And it's been turned into more of a cultural, and consumer event. The meditation I'd like to share today acknowledges the diversity and complexity of our experiences of motherhood and of this day. So I invite you to get settled, take a deep breath or two, and enter into the spirit of meditation with me. In religious community, we share our joys and our triumphs, our sorrows and our broken places. In this circle of care, we make space for the complexity of life, the myriad experiences that bless and break our hearts. The truth of human experience dictates that on any given day, we each come to the table with hearts in different places. In this circle of care, we honor the truth that mothering is not and never will be quantified in one single descriptor. Mothering can be elusive or infuriating, fulfilling or confusing, commonplace or triumphant. It exists in the everyday experiences of each person. There is no human being that is not connected to or disconnected from a mother. And so we honor the complexity of experience writ large in flowered platitudes, but here in this space laid bare, honoring the truth in each of our hearts. There is room for all in this circle. If you have carried a child or children, whether or not they came to be born, we see you. If you have fervently wished to do so and circumstances of fate made it impossible, we see you. If you love children we cannot see, whether because of death or estrangement, we see you. If you never wanted to be a mother, we see you. If you're happy to mother other people's children as an educator, an auntie, or a foster parent, we see you. If your mother hurt you, physically or emotionally, we see you. If you had no mother at all, we see you. If your mother is or was your best friend, we see you. If your gender says you are not a mother and yet you take on the role of nurturer, we see you. If you wonder whether your mothering has been enough, we see you. And if yours is a different truth altogether, we honor still your unspoken story. There is room for all in this community of memory, caring, and hope. May it be so today and always.
De colores se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores son los pajaritos que vienen de afuera. De colores es el arco iris que vemos. Es amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí, y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. De colores brillantes y finos se viste la aurora. De colores son los mil reflejos. De colores se viste el diamante que vemos lucir. Por eso los grandes amores a mí, y por eso los grandes amores de gustan a mí. De colores, sí, de blanco y negro, y rojo y azul y castaño. Son colores de gente que ríe y estrecha la mano. Son colores de gente que sabe de la libertad. Que son los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Canta el gallo con el kiri, 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 kiri. La gallina con el cara, 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 cara. Los polluelos con el pidopi. Y son los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. The words mean of colors. Of colors, the fields are dressed in the springtime. Are the small birds that come from so far away. Oh, we are just beginning to see shine. Because of this, the great love of many colors for the world, I also love. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. De colores se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores son los pajaritos que vienen de afuera. De colores es el arco iris que vemos lucir. Grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí.
Our community is an embodiment of healing love. Whoever you are, whatever your experience, we see you, we welcome you, we love you, and your unique personality, your unique being, we believe, helps make our community and the planet more beautiful. This is the meaning behind the flower communion, or as Reverend Chapek preferred to call it, the flower ceremony. But we all know love is harder and messier than Hallmark would have us believe. Love takes courage. It can be challenging to love ourselves and believe in our own potential. It can be challenging to love others, to open ourselves up to painful truths that are held in individual and collective stories. It can be challenging to love this imperiled earth and to know that love may lead us into a battle that we may not ultimately win. It can be challenging to love this life, which breaks our hearts again and again, even as it heals them. But this is who we are. They call us in the media, Unitarian Universalists, they call us the love people. The love people. As I noted in our opening words, all of our varied spiritual paths, all of our different experiences and ideas keep leading us back again and again to the centrality of love. Now, our first teachers in the art of love are, of course, our parents. And if we're lucky, they respond to our needs, they care for us, they provide us with unconditional love and support as we grow. Of course, most of us are not quite that lucky. We get people for parents and not saints. They held a convention for, this is my favorite joke, I've said it before, but they held a convention for adult children of functional families, and no one came. Seriously though, our entire society is set up to teach us all to believe that love is something we have to earn. Something we have to earn by being better or more beautiful, by working harder, being more successful, by making ourselves into some ideal. And here in our religious community, we know that this societal teaching is a lie. We are, each of us, worthy of love simply because we exist, because we are. There's nothing we have to do, no striving necessary. We are enough just as we are. We are loved just as we are. You are enough just as you are. You are loved just as you are. These are the words of Ram Dass. Imagine feeling more love from someone than you have ever known. You're being loved even more than your mother loved you when you were an infant, more than you were ever loved by your father, your child, or your most intimate lover, more than anyone. And this lover doesn't need anything from you, isn't looking for personal gratification, and only wants your complete fulfillment. You are loved just for being who you are, just for existing. You don't have to do anything to earn it. Your shortcomings, your lack of self-esteem, physical perfection, or social and economic success, none of that matters. No one can take this love away from you, and it will always be here. This love is actually part of you. It is always flowing through you. It's like the subatomic texture of the universe, the dark matter that connects everything. When you tune into that flow, you'll feel it in your own heart, not your physical heart or your emotional heart, but your spiritual heart, the place you point to in your chest when you say, I am. And that's the end of that reading. Can we let this be true for us? That we are loved just for being who we are, existing, that we don't have to do anything to earn it, that our shortcomings, our lack of self-esteem or perfection or success, none of that matters. We are loved without exception, period. This is our birthright, this sense of I am, this love that dwells within and among and beyond us all. We just have to claim it. And we can help one another claim it by creating spaces where this truth is taught instead of society's lies. Now, when it comes to our relationships with others, things get complicated sometimes. It's easy to see insult where none is intended, and it's hard to accept sometimes that someone loves us just as we are. The dance of setting boundaries and holding boundaries and respecting boundaries, of making mistakes, embracing accountability, and coming back into relationship. This is one that we spend our lifetimes trying to master. And I say this with ultimate and utmost humility as someone who's releasing a relationship that's been central to me for more than half my life. Loving someone takes work and commitment and skill. And sometimes even our best efforts aren't enough. And love leads us to a place where the right thing to do is to let go. And of course, every relationship has an ending of one sort or another, because none of us get out of this world alive. In The Restless Heart, Roland Rolheiser, a Catholic theologian and writer, says, loneliness continually puts pressure on us to pay the price of real love. Real love, that is altruistic love, does not come naturally to us. Nobody falls into love. Love is always the result of some effort and some sacrifice, some bleeding and some crying. It's the result of some willingness on a person's part to be hung up on a cross and die a little. Only 3 types of persons think that real love is easy. Those who are already saints, who through long years of painful practice have made love a habit. Manipulate, who have confused their own self-gratification with genuine love. And unrealistic dreamers know what they are talking about. Society tells us that stories end in happily ever after, but we know better. We know that messiness and loss and grief are a part of love as much as joy and tenderness and contentment. So together in this community, we make spaces where we can be real with one another, where we can acknowledge the challenges, as well as embracing the gifts. We also make spaces that allow love to call us into action. As we continually broaden our circle of connection and awareness, we also deepen our commitment to the work of love in the world, which is creating justice. It feels like there's such a long distance between where we are now and the world as we dream it could be, the world where all children grow up safe and loved and all people everywhere are celebrated and able to offer their gifts up in service to the greater good. In the words of Dorothy Day, this is the long loneliness. And she says, we've all known the loneliness and we've learned the solution is love, and that love comes with community. Talk about the earth as our mother. We often express gratitude for all of the ways that she nurtures and sustains us, but even mothers need mothers sometimes, and the earth is no exception. Our earth needs some fierce mama bear protective energy from us right now. The planet needs people who love and fight and work to protect and heal her. We're all mothers to Mother Earth, and we are all mothers to beloved community, determined to bring forth the beauty and the peace and the wholeness we dream about. We need to love a world into being, each of us doing what we can, doing what is uniquely ours to do, living the life that is within us, wanting to be whole, a world that is worthy of our children. And the whole point of religious community is to ensure that we have companions on this world creation. Here, there are people who'll be with you in grief and in joy, in struggle and in celebration. You're surrounded by people who will accompany you wherever you need to go. You're surrounded by people who will remind you in those moments when you forget, we were created to love and to be loved. People who will help you remember that in the act of loving and in the experience of being loved rests all our power for healing and good. People who will be real and willing to admit that loving is hard work, but also people who know that in the end analysis, it's the only work worth doing. So may we more fully love ourselves, that we might bloom into the fullness of the people we are meant to be. May we more fully love one another, letting go of expectations, one another the way we are, that each person might know themselves to be beautiful, blessed, and capable of being a blessing. And may we more fully love life and this fragile world, reshaping it into the paradise we dream of. Amen, and blessed be. Now, normally when we're in person, the flower communion consists of everybody bringing a flower and then everybody taking a flower with them when they go. We did that part of the flower communion last week at PCEI. So you'll see some photos from that experience. And this week, for people who are most comfortable just worshiping online, we have a little video presentation. So Sam, take it away. The flame at the heart of our faith is love. Love offered freely. Love received gratefully. Each individual life celebrated. All of us welcome. All of us encouraged to grow, to change, to connect. All that we learn about kindness, generosity, how to walk gently on this precious earth, we offer up to one another, knowing that together we see and understand so much more than any one of us alone. The creative spirit moves in us as we explore and play, laugh and cry, sing and dance. In all that life offers, knowing that our time on this earth is all too fleeting. We certainly aren't afraid to question authority. We embrace paradox. We welcome mystery. We trust that the seeds of compassion we plant today will bloom in the years to come, making our world more just and more beautiful. Truly, our cup overflows. Hope blooms here in the midst of unflinching honesty that doesn't shy away from difficult truths. Hope that accepts the enormity of the tasks before us. Together, we resist overwhelm and do the one next right thing, and the one after that, and the next one too, trusting that the world we dream of, the world that is worthy of our children, will be made of these small, loving choices, made day in and day out by people of good will. As the shape of our community changes and shifts, as people go away for a time or return after an absence, we learn that the love of this community is portable, that it goes with us, that it holds us always. Love abides. And with love, in love, through love, for love's sake, we keep reaching, keep growing, keep learning, keep becoming. Nothing forced, nothing too fussy. Just steady companions on an adventure together, figuring out our unique ways of being human and how all these unique humans somehow fit together. It has been beyond beautiful to witness the ways this community has continued to thrive in the face of pandemic, to see all the ways we've found to ask for what we need and to offer care and support, the ways we've found to find joy and beauty even in these challenging times. It's been beyond beautiful to witness how deep the love runs, how committed we are collectively to making sure no one gets left out or lost. Everyone feels loved and knows that who they are and what they do matters. The gifts this beloved community offers us, we've needed them more than ever. And as we move together into an unknown future, we know these gifts, they'll always be available to us. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. In abundance, joy, and faith, we celebrate. The beauty of our congregation is in the diversity of each unique individual, and the whole is so much more than the sum of its parts. So be it, and blessed be. Our closing reading is by Lynn Unger, Flower Communion. What a gathering! The purple tongues of iris licking out at spikes of lupin, the orange crepe skirts of poppies lifting over buttercup and daisy. Who can be grim in the face of such abundance? There's nothing to compare, no need for beauty to compete. The voluptuous rhododendron and the plain grass are equally filled with themselves, equally declare the miracles of color and form. This is what community looks like, this vibrant jostle stem by stem, declaring the marvelous joining. This is the face of communion, the incarnation once more gracefully resurrected from winter. Hold these things together in your sight. Purple, crimson, magenta, blue, you will be feasting on this long after the flowers are gone. Let's sing together our benediction. In the days and weeks to come, may we each remember to walk in gratitude. Gratitude for the goodness that abounds in the world and community. Gratitude for the gifts we've been given. And may we turn those gifts to good use. Above all, may we remember that everything we do and everything we are, the whole purpose of existence is to love and to be loved. So may we be courageous and fierce and constant and generous in our loving. So be it, and so may it be.